going to work.
All right. TGIF, everyone, TGIF. Anyway, all right. I love when the vocoder just stays on. I have no idea why it's still going, and the computer's been a real gremlin all day. If any of you are thinking about embarking on a musical project that includes computers, I'll just tell you right now that computers are terrible bandmates. I highly suggest human beings. Which is why I love playing music with Jeremy Hyman. Don't get me wrong, computers, but at the same time, computers. Anyway, can we form a gigantic circle in the center of the crowd as large as we could possibly make it? Imagine there's like a human ear growing out of the grass, and it's like, hey, I know all your passwords. I've written them down on a piece of paper. I know all the passwords.
Okay, so this is looking good. I can't see anything, so I'm going to turn the lights off, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but now I can. The lights that are facing out into the audience, are those horrible, or are those fine? Okay, good. There's a mixed response. That makes sense since light is directional and some of you are not in the light. But if the lights prove to be, I'm going to stop talking about lights. Can we get the person who said perfect? Can we get this person? Do you mind going to the center of the circle? And is there anyone who feels the lights are horrible? That other person! All right, so here's the deal. We're going to have a dance contest. Rule number 1, as sassy as you possibly can. Think like Tweety Bird sassy, but not like Tweety Bird that's like worried about being eaten, like office Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird that for some reason has a job that they dislike. They're like, don't talk to me like my coffee. Like mug Tweety Bird or oversized t-shirt Tweety Bird. That instance of Tweety Bird, the true personification, or Tweety Bird's not a person, but of sass. I should know that other word. But so rule number 2: when the current dancers are done dancing, you're going to pick the next contestant to replace you, so on and so on and so on. And think about 5 to 10 standard seconds, which is a much shorter and longer period of time than you could possibly imagine. Rule number 3: if you get picked, you have to do it. If you get picked and you don't want to do it, you do not have to do it. But you gotta do it. So. If you don't want to do it, I wouldn't stand anywhere near the circumference of the circle. Rule number 4, this side of the room dances as if all the aliens in Jurassic Park could talk, and this side of the room dances as if we lived in a country that wasn't horribly gerrymandered. Is everybody ready? And if you're in the circumference of the circle, be so kind to take one knee down to the ground. The ground is super clean. That's why they call it the Maker Park. All right, this is great. This song is called Change Your Life. Don't forget to pick new contestants. Don't forget to pick new contestants. This song's called Learn to Relax. Let's get all sweaty. Well, we can do the Wall of Life. And I know what you're saying, that sounds like the Patriot Act version of the Wall of Death. And in some ways it is. But what the Wall of Life is, it's when two groups of people in a modest-sized field run towards each other as fast as they possibly can, which isn't that fast because you can't get that much velocity in the distance of the air. And when the two sides meet, they run with their complete cognition of every step and movement they make. And then it's a non-stop barrage of high fives forever! The first person to high five everyone here tonight is going to live forever. It's a horrible curse. Everyone you know will perish and you will live on. But that's also the foundation of almost every popular religion, and that's crazy. So let's get in our sprinters' positions. I'll count you in. I'm going to say 3, 2, Wall of Life, and then we'll just high five forever. Or, until you get it. All right, cool. And once again, Jeremy Hyman on the drums. Al Shots on the sound. I don't know why I asked you to get in your sprinters position. We've all seen the Olympics on TV. All right, let's get back. Let's sprinters positions. 3, 2, Wall of Life! Wall of Life!
But you're on fire. Reach your hope, not waiting for this moment to begin. But now it's over. But you're not tired. Can you feel like but you're not tired. You wait your